just let me know when I can start.
Yeah, I don't see anybody else coming in, so I think we can go ahead and get started. Thank you.
Okay, sure, sounds good. So my name is Hiro. I've been a software engineer for the past 7 to 8 years. I've been in the Stacks ecosystem for about, I guess, a year now. And I joined Hiro Systems 7 months ago. So I joined the Clarinet team. So I work with Bryce and Ludo, which you might speak with on Discord or anywhere. We are pretty active in the Stack ecosystem. And today we will talk about a few of the tools we are working on and any tools we are developing at Hiro that will help you to build product on the Stacks blockchain. So this is kind of the overview of the topics we'll talk about today. So I will make a quick intro about Clarinet and Clarity VS Code extension. And then the biggest part will be the second one, the Clarinet demo. We will do a real deep dive of all the features there are with Clarinet. Then we'll talk about 2 new features, and I will finish with a quick demo of the Stack.js starters project, which allow you to quickly interact with a smart contract deployed on the blockchain, on the Stacks blockchain. So Clarinet and Clarity VS Code. Clarinet is a tool we are working on. It includes everything you need to write, test, and configure your Clarity smart contracts project. So we will really deep dive into this tool. As I said, there are a lot of features available on Clarinet. We'll focus on the main ones, and you will see that it's super powerful. And I will quickly show you also the Clarity VS Code extension. So it's the VS Code editor extension that will help you to write Clarity project. And this is the part I'm actively working on, and I will quickly show you a demo of how you can start a Clarity project real quick. So we have this Clarity starter repository that you can visit, and it's a template repository on GitHub. So you can use this template. It will create a new repository. So you can name it as you want. I will make it bigger. I will make it private for the sake of this demo. And here GitHub will create a Clarity project on my own GitHub account. I could also do it in an organization I'm part of. And now if I just press the dot character, or if I change the URL to github.dev, it will automatically open this project in GitHub, in VS Code for the web, so which is on github.dev. So here you can really put any repository. And here I can already see my contract, and actually I can start edit it and interact with it. And the extension is running in the browser. So if I change it and there is for example, an error in my project, I will see it here. So we have everything here you could expect. So you can, like, if I were to add a function, let's say I want the same as add, but to remove. And here I'm not making it in a way that the safest one, but here I can make it work like so. And I can simply commit my changes. So add a remove method. And I can push it to GitHub just like that. And here my changes are on my repo. So it's github.com. And here, okay, I can see that my changes are available here. So this is really the quickest way to start writing some Clarity code. And we will deep dive a bit more about like what else can we do, and more advanced features. So especially with the Clarinet CLI. So this first demo I made, everything happened in the browser. It's super easy, it's really fast. But when we want to do some more advanced stuff, like test the project, integrate front-end application that will work with our smart contracts, we won't do everything in the browser. So you will have to install some stuff on your computer and really get started. So I will go through the slides real quick. It will show you an overview of what we will do, and then I will do the real demo. So the Clarinet is a CLI, so it's a command line interface that you can use in your terminal. And it exposes a few functions like new. You can create a new Clarity project. It will pretty much create a template like this one with the clarinet.toml file, which is the configuration of your project, the different contracts you will have, and some settings. So the settings are configuration files to tell how your project should behave on the devnet or on the testnet or the mainnet. So the devnet is a simulated blockchain running on your computer. The testnet is just like the main blockchain, but everything is fake on it. So the STX are not real. And the mainnet is the blockchain we are used to interact with. So this is what Clarinet New does. It will create a few projects and a few files and directories. And there is a REPL. So REPL is for the read eval print loop. So you can, with Clarinet, you can type, you can write Clarity code directly in your terminal and interact with it. So we will use it quite a bit after. And you will see how powerful it is. So the static analysis will tell you if there are errors or if your code is valid. So as we saw just earlier, it runs directly in your code editor, or it can run in the CLI, like we can see here on the screen. So again, we will have the opportunity to see it in action in a few minutes. We can run tests. So we can run integration test on our smart contract. So the tests are written in TypeScript, and it's based on the Dono environment. So it's an alternative to Node, which allows to write TypeScript code and to run it. So the Clarinet test framework runs in Dono, and so the tests are written in TypeScript. So if you are familiar with it, if you're familiar with TypeScript, it will be quite easy to test your project. And yeah, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask it out loud or in the chat. And thanks, Bryce, for answering. So again, we will write some tests after. And this is Clarinet Integrate. So it will start a fake blockchain of like a fake Bitcoin node and a stack node on your machine, and you will be able to deploy your contract on it and to start to interact with it directly on your computer. So it's super useful to build the smart contract along with the front-end application that will interact with the smart contract. And you can do step-by-step debugging right in VS Code. So it's a way for the developers to interact with contracts line by line. So really you will be able to see what is the value of a specific variable in live. And you can stop like line by line to see what a specific line does. Here it's a simple example, but if you have multiple branches, you will see in which branches your contract call will go. If another function is called, you will see it as well and everything. So it's super powerful. And finally, with Clarinet, you can deploy your contracts. So we will talk a bit about deployment plan. So it's a way for easily and safely deploy contracts on the testnet or on the mainnet. We'll talk a bit more about it later. So we will get into the demo part of this presentation. So I will take this, no, not this one, sorry. Where is it? Yeah, I will take this project and I will actually not open it in the browser, but I will clone it on my computer. So I usually use a lot of the command lines, but there are many tools to interact with Git with the UI. But I'm more like, we will do everything in the console for today. But yeah, I can just clone this project into on my computer, and I will open it in VS Code. So it's called My Clarity Project, and I will open. So let me close the door very quick. So I will just move the panel to the right. Okay. So here my project has the clarinet.toml file we talked about earlier. So it tells which contract is in my project, which Clarity version it's using. So for now, all projects are using Clarity 1, but soon we will have a new multiple version of Clarity out there. And my project has a name and some configuration that maybe we'll talk a bit more about later. So here it has only one contract. I will remove it just to remove this warning, and I will create a new contract just to show you how to create multiple contracts. It's Clarinet contract new, and I will call it Billboard. So we have on GitHub a Billboard example that showcases a lot of Clarinet features. So I will pretty much rely on this example during this presentation. Okay, sorry, just a sec. I need to take care of something. I'll be back. Okay, sorry about that. So I just created a new contract called Billboard. So just this command, it created two new files, test file and the contract file. So from here, I will take a shortcut and I will just open this repository and get the code from here. So this project is called Billboard because it simply allows to get a string or change the message that is in this string. So every time someone will want to change the message of the billboard, you will have to spend a few STX, and the price will increase every time. So let's see. I will also take the test. So this is a repository available on our Hiro system organization, and you can pretty much clone it and play with it. So the billboard test. Let me copy paste it very quick. Okay. Let me check my notes real quick. Okay, so here there is no error in the project, but let's say, for example, I forgot that current price was supposed to be a uint, but I just think it's an integer. If I save, the compiler will tell me, okay, here we expected oh yeah, okay, it's the other way around. Let me do it like that. It will be clearer. So here it will tell me that it expects a uint because you can't add a uint and an int together. And I can also do it with Clarinet check, so directly into the CLI. If I'm not in a, okay, let me know if you want me to make it bigger or smaller, but it should be okay. And if I run Clarinet check, it will pretty much tell me the same thing right here. So I will fix this error. Also, we have the ability to check for unsafe data, so we call it check checker. And here in Clarinet for clarinet.toml, we configure it in a way that we want this check to run. So I will leave it, it's on by default. And if I remove this comment, the compiler will tell me, like the analysis will tell me that message is unchecked. So maybe I want to check it. Maybe I want to check that the length is, like the message is long enough, or maybe, I don't know, we can make sure that this message is not the same as the one that is already set. So I can use the assert. So as the assert method will take a Boolean expression, and if this expression is false, it will throw an error. So here you can see that I just type assert, and the extension will complete it for me. I even get the documentation of the function. And here the expression I want is something like, I want to make sure that the new message in message and the one already set in billboard message. So it's in a variable. I need to do override get billboard message. So I want to make sure these two messages are not equal. And if they are, I don't want to charge the user and increase the price. I want to cancel the transaction. I can have a constant with a new error code. So it's just a convention. We often save error constant in like error messages or error codes, should I say, in a constant. So I will call it same message, and the code will just be U1. So each contract will have its set of error code. It's a bit like HTTP error code, if you are familiar with it. So, for example, 404 mean not found, 401 mean forbidden, so stuff like that. So each contract will have pretty much its own sets of error. And here I will say, okay, I want to throw this error if my assertion is false. So I want to make sure that they are not equal. And here I can save. I won't have the warning again. So the warning used to say use of potentially unchecked data. But if I add a check on it, the message will disappear. Or if I want to trust the data, I could have just leave it as it was. So there is a comment that says allow unchecked data. But I prefer to check it. It's safer for the user, and it will avoid the contract to charge users if they set the same message. So now I can show you the console. So if I write Clarinet console here in my terminal, it will open a console. My contract is directly loaded within this console. Here I can write arbitrary Clarity code. So if I add these two numbers, it will say 3. And I can call my contract. So if I call billboard get message, it will tell me the message is hello world. I could also call get price, or I can call a public function, which is set message. And I need to pass to this function one argument, which is the new message. So for example, here I can say either instead of hello world. And if I do it, the answer will be okay with the new price. So the next time I want to call this contract, I will be charged 10 more STX to change the message. Unless I call it with the same message, I get an error, which is U1. And if I refer to my contract, it says error some message. Maybe I could make it a bit more explicit, but for the sake of this demo, let's say it's okay. And I can even look at the asset map. So here, if I just type help, I will see all of the helper functions I get in Clarinet console. And if I do get asset maps, for example, I can see that so my main account just lost 100 or spent 100 STX, and this STX was transferred to the billboard contract. So now the billboard owns it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So it just to check out our contract works well. But in the end, contracts can get complicated, and you probably don't want to test manually everything every time you make a change. That's why we have unit tests like so. So as I said, the tests are written in TypeScript. So this is the syntax. When you want to interact with tests, make sure you have the Dono extension installed. So here I have two extensions that are important. It's Clarity and Dono. But if you get the Clarity starter, it's set in the recommendation. So VS Code will automatically ask you to install these extensions. So here, also, I have already 3 tests. They will basically call get message and make sure that the response is hello world. Ensure that the message update when I call billboard set message with something else. And ensure that the price is incremented by 10. So if I wanted to maybe add another test to make sure that I can set the same message twice, I can name it message cannot be the same. Yeah, I will just copy paste. Just hit for now. Yeah, okay, so this test will call billboard set message, and I will say hello world, which I believe is the same string that the contract is initialized with. So I should have an error here that tells me that I can't do it because it's already the value in the contract. So here I can say block received 1. So this is a result of the first block I just mined. So it's obviously fake. I can say that I expect an error, and the value of this error would be a uint, and it should be 1. And here I can even tell that, okay, I want to run only this test. Sorry, only. And if I run Clarinet test, Okay, it runs as well the other one. Let me just delete this file real quick. But yeah, okay. Message cannot be the same. Yeah, that's it. So if I, for example, or if I have a message in my contract, like, okay, I didn't set the right message, so here. So I will voluntarily set a wrong message error here. And it will tell me, okay, we expected to get U1, but we got U0. So I know I have to go back to my contract and fix this error. And now I can run the test again, and it will tell me that it's working. I think there is one more thing I want to show you, or two more things actually. A super useful thing is a step-by-step debugger. So here, if I go into the launch part of VS Code, I can create a launch.json, and it will automatically fill it with some placeholder values. I can ask him to call billboard.setMessage, and here I will tell him to call billboard.setMessage with a value called either, and I just need to make sure to escape the quotes. So now if I hit 1, it will automatically call this function, and I will be able to see in live the values of my variables in my contract. So here I will just click this small button to step-by-step. I don't think I clicked the right one. Okay. So I can go step-by-step into my code, so I can read it line by line, and it will stop. So if I stop here, at this point, the value of billboard message is still hello world, and the price is still 100. And if I go to the next step, here I can see that the billboard message changes because this was called. So the billboard message has been set to the value of the message that I provided. So it was either. And if I do it again, the price will change as well. And if I do it again, there is nothing next, so it will exit. And here in the debug console, I will see that it will show me the return value of this function. I think, yeah, a bit slow on my timing, but there is one more thing I want to show. So here we have been interacting with our smart contracts in multiple ways, but directly with the Clarinet CLI. So we only interacted with it through the command line or through the VS Code extension. But it's also possible to interact with it directly from a front-end application. So let's say you are a front-end developer and you want to interact with a given smart contract. You will be able to launch Clarinet integrate. So you just need to make sure that you have Docker installed and running to do so. But it will launch this interface. So what it does is basically to start a Bitcoin node, a Stacks node, a Stacks API, and a Stacks Explorer directly on your computer, and you will be able to interact with it. So it might take a few seconds to do it. So maybe I won't go through it all, but yeah, we can see that the Stacks API is running on a specific URL, so on my localhost. Same goes for the Stacks node, and the Stacks Explorer will be available as well. And it will mine blocks one by one. So here it just deployed deployed some needed contracts, so BNS, PRX, and everything. Here it deploys my contracts, which are Billboard and Counter, which are just here. And now every time I will interact with it, it will
run the blocks one by one, and I will be able to interact with it. So if you want to test it more in depth, you can go on the Billboard repository. So if you clone it, so you will have the Billboard contract we just saw. And there is as well a front-end application that will interact with it. So if you clone it and run Clarinet integrate, and then start this, I think it's a React, yeah, it's a React application, you will be able to see this application in action. And in just a few minutes, we will talk a bit more about the front-end application. So let me know if you have any questions. Yeah, maybe I can just show you one more thing with Clarinet. So I will end this session. Yeah, okay. Let's say I want to give an NFT for every user who set a new message. So I will want my contract to rely on the NFT trait. So a trait is basically a way to say, okay, this is how NFT are supposed to behave on the Stacks blockchain. And it just gives a set of functions that must exist in any NFT project. So I can write NFT requirements add. So no, sorry, Clarinet requirements add. And here, this is the address of the NFT trait contract on the mainnet. So if I do so, it will automatically add it here in my clarinet.toml file. So I could have done it manually. And here I can say, okay, I want my contract to implement this trait. So click. Okay. So this is a contract identifier, but what I want is to really interact with the trait within it. And the trait just has the same name as the contract. And just because I have it in my requirements, it's actually saved here in requirements. So I can see how the contract looks like on the mainnet. So the contract is called NFT trait, and there is inside a trait called NFT trait as well. So that's why I have it twice here. It's the name of the contract and the name of the trait. And here my contract will tell me, okay, I'm not implementing the right functions. So I won't go through it, but basically I need to define a read-only function that is get last token ID. And that returns a uint. So it's why you can see here. And here, if I save, okay, now it tells me I need to implement get owner, but basically the extension will tell me everything I need to implement for my contract to satisfy the trait. So I won't go through it, it will take a bit longer, but that's pretty much it. So that's it for the Clarinet demo. I will get back to the slides. So pretty much everything we saw is in the slide deck. Hopefully we will send you access to it right after the presentation. So next I wanted to talk about two new features as well. We will get a quick overview about it. But we recently released the deployment plans. So it's a way for you to tell how should the contract behave based on a specific plan. So you can have a different plan for the devnet, the testnet, and the mainnet. So if we look, so there is this super article. It's called 4 new features in Clarinet. And if we focus on deployment plans, so it basically tells what we can do with it. And I will let you have a look at this contract, at this article right after. But basically, a cool feature, for example, is that it allows you to remap certain contracts, because obviously the NFT trace is not the NFT trait, for example, is not deployed on the same address on the testnet or on the mainnet. So you will want to remap the contract ID based on a specific plan. So this is what deployment plans allows you to do without sharing any sensitive information like private keys or anything. It's just to tell, okay, this is how the deployment should behave. Maybe you want to make some contract call before deploying your contract, or really many features are available. But this is an example of a good one. And there is a CBTC example, which is a repository on our GitHub organization, but we will look at it a bit later. I wanted to quickly show you the chain hooks as well. So the chain hooks is a way for developers to react to events happening to the Bitcoin or the Stacks blockchain. So let me show you this with me. So it, as I said, it allows to react to events, and you can set the predicates you want to have to react on certain type of event. So you can interact with the Bitcoin blockchain or directly the Stacks blockchain. I will focus on the Stacks blockchain just because I think it's a bit more explicit. But basically, you can say, okay, I want to react if there is an FT event, so a fungible token event, on a particular contract, so for example, CBTC, and I want to know if there is a mint or a burn on this contract. So this is a certain type of predicate, and I will show you just after how to specify the action you want to perform in case this predicate is true. So you can react to FT event, NFT event, STX event. So for example, if there is a mint or a lock of STX, you can react on print event. And yeah, this is just a list of a few examples of what can be done. And if we look at the CBTC example, I can see, so it's a regular Clarity project, and there is a chain hooks directory. And if I look at it, okay, there is one event that is to react on a burn action on the CBTC token contract. And I will say, okay, if this predicate is true, or when it's fired on the blockchain, I want to call a specific endpoint on my a web server I have. So it will allow me to perform other action in reaction to the to an event happening on the Stacks or Bitcoin blockchain. So this is an example to react on an event on the Stacks blockchain, and I can also react to an event on the Bitcoin blockchain. So this feature is really a work in progress right now. It's functional, but we are still to publish documentation and give more example about how to use it. And I think that Ludo, who is in the call and who is working on it actively, is planning on doing a screencast, so a video which will be released on YouTube to explain and to really deep dive everything that can be done with chain hooks. So you will also have access to the links in the presentation. Sorry, I'm going backward. Last thing I wanted to demo is the stacks.js starter demo. So if you go on the Hiro website, hiro.so, you can go into resources, tutorials, and here in Learn and Build, there is a stack.js starter tab. So let's say I want to build a front-end application that will interact with a smart contract or with any smart contract on the Stacks blockchain. I will need to develop a web application, so it's a pretty regular one. And I will tell, okay, I will use Vue for this demo. And this is just for the purpose of surveys to know what people are using the starter for. So let's say I want to connect with a wallet and I want to interact with NFTs, or no, I want to call and wait from Clarity smart contracts. Here I have two options. I can generate the projects locally. So it just gives me the command I need to type to initialize this project, or I can start it directly in the web browser with Code Sandbox, and I will go for this option. So here it basically cloned a repository in my Code Sandbox, sorry, the list of repositories. Yeah, all the templates are here, so it's on GitHub. It's under stacks.js starters. So here is my template. So Code Sandbox allows me to, like it started already, and it interacts with a fake contract, like a small contract, I mean, that allows to, I guess, vote for your preferred food. So if I click here, okay, insufficient balance, I'm on the testnet. I think I'm connected to a test account, and I think that I emptied it when we are seeing for this demo. So right now I don't have enough balance, but the point is just to show you that here there is a code to connect with a wallet. So it will use the stacks connect package from npm. So here it shows you what needs to be done to connect to a wallet, and it's pretty much what we see here. And on stacks contract vote.view, I can see how I can call a specific function on a contract. So this is the address of the contract I want to call. This is the name of the contract, and I want to call the function vote. And so I will send as a string either a peach or an apple, or an apricot, maybe, I don't know. And here it says, in this pop-up, I will see what the user voted for. So there are tons of features available on the Stack Connects or Stacks networks, or even Stacks transaction packages. So obviously the documentation is available online. And this is a pretty good way to start. So you can pick your favorite framework. And I mean, if you don't want to use a starter, it's also possible to just start a regular project, and even without a framework or with another one, just like you will start any other framework, any other projects, sorry. And you will just have to install the packages you need. So Stacks Connect, Stacks Network, and Stacks Transaction are the most common one, depending on what you want to do on the blockchain. And I think that's it for the demo. Yeah, so I'm staying for a while. If you have any question for a Q&A, I wanted to have more time for it, but I was a bit slow. Also, we had a lot of things to talk about. So here, there are some links. So YouTube videos or blog articles, just to highlight here about what to do with Clarinet. And you should have access to it. I will send you the link. I think it's public. I will just make sure.
Hugo, I can
Okay.
post the link.
Yeah, thank you. I don't think I have the right to share it, but yeah, thank you. Yeah, Chad, feel free to ask a question.
Hi, Hugo. Thank you for your presentation. I have kind of two questions. How long have you been working in Clarity, and how long do you estimate it took you to become, well, would you be an expert in it? How long did that take?
So I think, so Clarity is a bit awkward at the beginning because very few developers are used to this kind of programming language, and it can be a bit like not super welcoming at the beginning, but once you understand it, I guess I can't tell a specific timing because it really depends on your experience, but I think it's pretty fast to grasp the main interaction you can do with Clarity. Once you understand how the language works, I think the set of native functions and native keywords is pretty small, and you can pretty quickly understand what is possible to do with it and how to do it. Also, if you want to, like, you will need also to know TypeScript or at least JavaScript to write the unit test. So this can take a bit of time. So someone like I had an experience in TypeScript, and very few or very little experience in Web3 or smart contracts when I started. But I guess after a few weeks or months of training, I was already, I had a good enough understanding to think that, okay, I can start build stuff on Clarity. And I guess like development skills, it's like a always learning thing. So it can take a very long time to really understand how to build the safest and cleanest smart contract. But depending on the use case, I mean, you can have an NFT contract up and running in a month, I guess, with a little or medium experience in programming. Obviously, yeah, for a perfect, like for someone with no experience in programming, I mean, it would just take a bit of dedication and time to get up and running. But yeah, I think, and we are doing a lot of work to make it easier and easier for anyone to start coding in Clarity. So sometimes it's just about cloning. And I should try not to say the word just too much, because obviously it's never just something. It's always a bit harder than we can expect, but like copying a smart contract, like an NFT smart contract, and modifying it to your needs can be done pretty quickly, and you can deploy it pretty quickly. But if you want to build a big DeFi application, obviously this will take a lot more time. I hope I answered the question. It's not an easy one. I mean, there is no definitive answer. It really depends on everyone's skill set. I'm trying to scan the other question in the chat. Feel free to ask any other question. We still have a bit of time.
Hello, Hugo. Can you hear me? Yeah, thank you so much for the presentation. Just can you tell us what you're working on and maybe what you're excited to be working on?
So my specific focus right now is to work on the Clarity VS Code extension. So this is really about making it more powerful and easier to write Clarity code in the editor. So we are specifically targeting VS Code. And so Clarity is a pretty new language. And when you write it in VS Code, you don't have as many features as you would have maybe with TypeScript or JavaScript or Python, which are like super popular languages. And so we just want to make it easier for everyone to write Clarity code. So we want to give more insight within the editor. So, for example, we want to give more and more insight about your code right within the editor. So, for example, just let it load. For example, right now, if I want to write a read-only function, okay, I can see the documentation here, but we would like for anyone to just hover a keyword and here have a pop-up that will tell you how the varget function works. Or if I call another function in my contract, I would like to easily highlight which function is called. So this is my main focus right now, and I really think that in the next few months we will really make the Clarity writing experience as good as it can be, just like it is right now for TypeScript or Python. So yeah, this is really my focus right now. But yeah, I mean, we are a small team, but we are working on a lot of projects. So Ludo, who is in the code, is working on chain hooks, and it will unlock a lot of super cool features just to be able to react to any event happening on the Bitcoin or Stacks chain will be super powerful. And Bryce, who is here as well, is working on improvement on the blockchain. Not sure on what actually, but I think just improving the performances of the blockchain, and also a new version of Clarity, which is 2.1 or 2 or 2.1. I think we call it Clarity 2. Will be available pretty soon with new native functions, so to easily manipulate strings or to improve the way POX is done. Like a lot of cool stuff is happening on Clarity. And I think it will, I already enjoy writing Clarity code, and it will be just better and better as it gets. Yeah, thank you for clarifying that, Boris. I think we can stop the recording here, and if you have any other question, I can stay a couple more minutes.